Here with head coach Kelly Morrone after a 71-56 victory over Niagara. Coach, opening statement on the game.
I'm glad it's over. That Niagara team is every bit of what they're advertised to be. Unbelievably tough players that play a tough style of basketball, and it's just unrelenting. And I have so much respect for what they do and for what Coach Jada, how she has them believing in that style. And it's the first time that we faced somebody that's 40 minutes of crazy havoc like that. And I have to say that for a young team, I think we handled it as good as we could. The first quarter coming out and getting some confidence with being able to, break free from some of that pressure, I think was probably the biggest key, is not starting off slow. And then we knew rebounding was going to be a major factor. And I mean, when Maddie Roman has 19 rebounds and can take care of the paint like that, like good things normally happen. I also thought we did a good job of just kind of getting good spacing and getting out over the top of the press, but the ball control was probably another big key along with that fast start.
We'll open up for some questions for Coach Morrone.
You talk about being able to handle the pressure early on. You've got a lot of underclass players in terms of your ball handlers out there. What specifically did you like that they were able to do going against that pressure? Because you don't often see a team that's pressing off of misses, right? And they're coming at you every single off of misses. They've got 3 players down below the free throw line. What did you like out of, I'd say particularly maybe Fiore and Garcia coming out of the backcourt today, helping break that pressure?
I mean, they turned it over, but they moved on, right? So that was important. I also think that they did a good job of, normally a lot of teams are like, can you give me the perfect cross break? No. You gotta be good at it, right? And there's certain possessions where you just have to be tougher and better than who's guarding you. And I think we did a good job of like taking individual responsibility for, I gotta get myself open, right? I've gotta make the pass to handle the physical play. So I loved that there was a shared energy between the guards, especially the primary ball handlers that we have, of switching up who was bringing it up, who was going to be the long runner, and not dropping their heads. But collectively, they weren't looking at me for answers like, you got to give me something. They were internally going, what's the next thing that I have in my learning toolbox that I can refer back to? Because we've practiced against pressure and played against pressure all season, and we know we're going to see more of it. So I think their mentality and their composure was really good. And the growth to not ask me for a perfect set, like it's the coach's dream. I probably should have one though.
So just play off that. Obviously, they only had 8 players coming into the game, and they ended with 6. But they still were pressing from the very first tip-off. Were you expecting them to play that way with the limited players they had? And how proud are you of the players to? I know there was a lot of stop and go, so you have to catch your breath. But you guys answered that call the entire 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what they do. That's who they are. That's their identity, and that's why I have a lot of respect for the team. They play so hard constantly, whether they're up, whether they're down. It doesn't matter whether they have 6 players or not. And you hate to see a team injured, but we had to take every punch that they had. And I thought our subs too came in, and it's not easy to be sitting there and then all of a sudden be thrust into kind of that intense environment and not make a ton of mistakes. And that was another goal, was to just collectively make as many good decisions as we can with the ball, and for the most part we did that. I know that the stat sheet, obviously 29 turnovers does what it does, but that's what they make you do. We've stayed intentionally focused on the categories that we knew was going to be the give and take categories, with what they get from turnovers and what we needed to take out of that.
Any more questions for Coach Morrone?
It's more of a statement, actually. So I was going through the numbers. You guys have scored 15 plus in 10 of the last 12 quarters. How does it feel to know that you can get that type of production heading into conference play? Obviously, you've opened up 2-0 here. You've got a bit of a break coming. But knowing that heading into the break, you can put up 15 plus more times than not over the last 3 games.
I mean, it's been nice to have a little bit of offense, right? And I think the transition is helping. Our transition and just being able to get it up the floor and space out. We have runners. We were really stagnant to start the season, and we've challenged them to be in better shape, to play through your fatigue, and to recognize change of possession, and, you know, coach, I gotta do all those things, it all comes into play. And, you know, when I challenge this team, they look at me and they may not like it, but they do it. So any offensive production I've been good with, and I think tonight specifically, you know, Cadence and Lydia have been doing a lot of outside shooting for us and spacing the floor for us, and they didn't necessarily, I think neither one of them hit a three, but they had some other plays, and like for us to score 70 without that makes me feel like that we've had some growth amongst other players and just what we're doing.
Just to piggyback off of what he was talking in terms of your offense, getting to the free throw line, you've been hitting a really great percentage all season long. You're top 5 in the country coming into tonight. You got to the free throw line with great frequency tonight, and you hit a fair amount of your shots, finished over 70% from the line. A lot of that, I feel like free throws is, in particular, it's a lot between the ears a lot of times. You talked about the growth you've seen from your team, them being challenged, them not coming to you in regards to, you know, what do you have for us in the press break, we have to figure it out. Is that just another sign of mental toughness for your team, the fact that they can go, especially a game like tonight, fatigued as they are, go to the line and convert, and that be such a big difference in picking up the win?
Absolutely. I mean, I've had teams, I've coached teams where I've done a ton of free throws and they were terrible. I've done no free throws and they're fine sometimes, but I certainly think to be able to go from that type of pace to then settling your mind and getting into the moment is certainly mental toughness, it's maturity, and it's being able to keep your feet in the moment. But yeah, without free throws, we don't win that game. I did not know we were top 5 in the country.
Knock on wood for you, fourth in the country coming into tonight, one of 8 teams, I think, shooting over 80% of the season entering play today.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, I gotta give it to them. They're doing absolutely everything I ask of them, so I'm a very proud coach.
And 2 wins to get conference play started has to be a nice, some of the stuff in the stocking, I suppose, as we're moving into the holiday season, has to feel pretty good.
Yes, it does. It's relief too, you know, I want them to feel confident and go into break and know that they've put in the work that they needed to in the non-conference to prepare for the conference, but also understanding you have to take care of home games. I mean, playing on the road is a challenge, and to be able to protect the house and really secure these 2 wins to start is a huge accomplishment. One that they probably can't wrap their head around yet, but we're just gonna let them enjoy it and go on break and have happy holidays.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.